So I wanted to do a quick video. I kind of feel like maybe a video diary is something that I want to do. I'm trying to figure it out. It started out as a desire to do lives, but the more I feel into it, when I go to do a live, it's like my brain almost went empty and I'm not sure why. So maybe just having this confidence in myself right now, just doing a personal journal, like a personal video diary. So the big thing that I wanted to touch on today is it's January 1st, 2019. And of course, the new year always brings with it resolutions that we come up with. We make all these plans and we're like, I'm gonna, lose weight. I'm gonna get healthier. I'm gonna whiten my teeth. I'm gonna, read 20 books this year. We set all of these goals, some of them really lofty, some of them realistic, some of them not realistic, some of them we want to be that way, but we set the goal and then we're not. Somewhere along the way we get lost. We don't really know how to get there, and then we fall off that wagon. And that's happened to me so many years in a row. And I wanted to share one of the biggest things that I have done for myself, and it was not on New Year's. So that means you can start something any day. It doesn't have to be, New Year's Day. It doesn't have to be a set anniversary. You don't have to wait to start something. So July 30th of 2018, I came home after a trip to the store, and I had stopped at a Michael's, and I was just kind of looking around, and something caught my eye. I was actually in line, and I was standing there, and I looked over because I was kind of bored just waiting, and I looked over and I saw a rack of, I guess, planners and like planning stickers and all that kind of stuff, and I saw this little book, and it says, Faith Can Move Mountains, Amazing Grace, Let Light Shine. And at first I thought, okay, I love the color, right? That was what first caught my, and then the words on it, and I started reading it. And the irony in this is I'm not your typical religious type person. I've had some experiences with organized religion in the past, and I don't feel like any of that really resonates with me. I feel like the community portion of it really resonates with me, but the expectations to be a certain way, to believe exactly what you're being told, just doesn't resonate with me. So all of that to say that I saw this, and I walked over, I got out of line, and I walked over, and on the front page it says, rejoice and worship. And at first, like, seriously, I was like, whatever, man, like, that's silly, like, that's not something I'm gonna do. This is like a religious thing, and I don't do religious things. So, but I flipped it open, and it had a daily study portion, and then it had topical study and thoughts. And when I looked at the daily devotional, and I mean, just like, I got past the words. Like, I got over myself. I got past the words. I got past the idea of organized religion. I looked past my own history and my own triggering issues with being abused by someone who was a big part of an organized church that I was a part of growing up. All of that to say that I stepped past all that because something so deep in me was like, this is for you. So I listened to that. And so on the daily devotional, I'll just show you a page. It's got the daily devotional. It has a portion for scripture. It has a portion for your daily focus notes, and then something you're grateful for, and then just like a journaling section. So I'm going to share this one entry that I just happened to flip to a little bit ago as I was sitting here thinking, like, do I want to do lives? Do I want to do... I feel compelled almost, not in a bad way, but to do something like this, like a video diary, something to share. I feel like I need to share things. I feel like I need to be transparent. I feel like it almost makes me want to, like, I start to get emotional because it feels so important to me. It feels so big to me, and I'm not even sure why. I don't really understand it, so bear with me. So I wrote this on 11/26/18, November. So my focus for that day was to work at rest, allow for healing even when it doesn't fit my schedule. So that was my mindset. I struggle with a lot of physical issues, with autoimmune problems, with a lot of things that I truly deep down believe that I can heal, that it's taking time, that I have a lifetime worth of damage to work on, to heal. So working at rest is really important to me. There's so many things, my mind is so busy, there's so many things that I feel like I want to do, that excite me, that I want to try, but I have to work within the parameters that my physical body will allow me to. So work at rest is huge for me, and that's something that I just started then. And then my notes for that day, everything that needs to get done is done. Really sitting with it and telling that anxious voice in my head that's like overwhelmed and feeling like you're never going to get this done, you know, your life is falling apart, like that, just that mean girl in my head. And I know everybody's got one of those, but just saying everything that needs to get done is done. It's like it's like somebody removes that weight, you know, from your chest. So everything that needs to get done is done. I'm right where I need to be in my journey. So this is huge. So it goes along with everything that needs to get done is done. I'm right where I need to be in my journey. This is an affirmation that I've had to repeat, oh my gosh, hundreds of times, because I have that lingering feeling like I was comparing myself to someone, and I felt like, okay, she's got to this point, she's finished with her bachelor's, she's in a career, she's like doing everything, and I'm still not there. I'm still, you know, not finished with school, I'm not finished with all these things. So I was comparing myself. So telling myself I'm right where I need to be in my journey is huge, because we're all on our own path. My journey is not going to be the same as someone else's, and to compare ourselves is like comparing, you know, apples to bananas. Like, they're completely different things. You cannot base the worth of one of them by comparing it to something that is completely different. I mean, yes, we're both females and we're both human beings, but that is literally like the extent of it. So then what I was grateful for that day, warm covers and heating pads. And I think it's so important to write down what you're grateful for, even if it seems silly in the moment, because for a long time I was like, that's silly, like that's something so little. But then I had an experience, and I have had experiences throughout my life where I went without electricity, I went without running water, I lived outside for a time. So, you know, warm blankets, a heating pad, electricity, running water, hot water, is huge. So even if it's something that you think is silly, writing it down and realizing that you are grateful for it is big. So do it. It's important. Today's scripture. This is the part where I really had to push past a lot of my personal issues with church and religion and that kind of thing. I think when it really comes down to it, I find that the Bible has a lot of good information in it. I think that the path that Jesus was on, I think the type of person he was here to be, I think the healing that he gave to so many people, and like the things he was teaching are so important. And I 100% agree with it. I think there's a lot of stuff in the Bible that can be interpreted in different ways, and I think it's really up to the person that's reading it to really understand. But it's also a recollection of history and fact. So science has told us that you know, there is a lot of the Bible is based on history and fact. So the teaching specifically, so I really, it took me a while to warm up, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think the first couple times I wrote the scriptures, I was halfway rolling my eyes, but I did it anyways, because it's like my higher self, something deeper inside of me, realized the importance of this. And so the one that I chose was, let's see, rest when you're weary, refresh and renew yourself, your body, your mind, your spirit, then get back to work. That's huge for me, and it goes totally with work at rest. So whenever I started to feel that heaviness, that like, instead of pushing, because I have this tendency when I start to feel bad, I'll be standing there washing dishes, and about halfway through sometimes my legs feel like lead weights. Like, I'm in so much pain it's hard to stand up. Or I'll have these episodes where I'm so off balance, and it can last anywhere from minutes to hours to days. And I can be so off balance that I have trouble standing still in front of the sink, and I feel like I start swaying. Typically I'll get really angry because I'm like, I don't have time for this shit, you know, like I need this to stop so that I can keep going, and I will push through it. There are times where I do need to push through it. There are times where I find that if I can push through it, I'm so much happier on the other side because I've accomplished something and I haven't given in. But a lot of times that mentality has pushed me too far, and it's caused me problems. So the work at rest, you know, when you're weary, you know, to refresh and renew is really important. And then to wrap this up, I will finish this last little bit. I don't want to keep you guys all day. I hoped for more sleep, or even to rise feeling rejuvenated or energetic. Yet this I have to read my own handwriting. Yet this morning my muscles and bones ache. The pit in my stomach is where my anxiety often lies, and it's in full motion. My mind has tried to push it all away, and yet it lingers still. Every movement, one of effort. The passing of time while I feel something slipping from me is maddening. It's my productivity, my time to accomplish. I watch it tick away, helpless to stop it, trapped a prisoner in my ailing body. My only recourse, complete surrender. Which led into about a week of me working on affirmations, working on really changing my mindset on what's important, and accepting surrender. Because to me, it's like, I was always one of those people, and I kind of still am, but it's like I would rather die on my feet than live on my knees, if you're with me on that. So surrendering to me is like, well, if I surrender when I start to feel bad by resting, then I'm giving into this, and I would rather die on my feet than live on my knees. And to me, this was living on my knees. So I think it's so important, though, like, that I did this, and I wanted to share this with you in hopes that it can help you develop a practice that maybe can help. Because I look back and I'm, you know, I read through some of these things on days where I'm really struggling. When I have bad days, I felt really bad this morning. I've been having a tough day. It's already midway, little more than midway through the day. And it took me that long just to get dishes washed, kids up, fed, myself bathed and dressed, and I didn't even really do my hair. And I just like threw on a tiny bit of makeup, and I felt like I was just feeling very low, I think is the word I want to use. Just kind of stuck, kind of depressed, because it's the beginning of a new year. And there's a lot of energy going on. A lot of people are excited. They're starting new workout regimens. And I feel like I got up and somebody beat the living daylights out of me. And I'm just moving slow. And everyone has always said in my mind, and this is another program that I have to deal with, in my mind, that whatever you're doing on New Year's Day is what you will be doing. It'll set the tone for the rest of the year. Or what you'll be doing the rest of the year. And so feeling the way that I do today, it really got me down. I was like, oh God, I can't take another year. And then that's when that overwhelm started kicking in again. So going back and really reading this stuff, really looking at it, it gives you perspective. So I hope that this is something that will help you maybe gain some perspective, maybe work on some stuff. You probably will have different situations than I do, maybe not struggling with the same exact things, but this works for a lot of things. And we're human, so we all have some kind of issue, and none of us get out alive, right? But thank you so much for taking this time with me, and I wish you the best day and the best year, and happiness and love.